You have said that the process has already commenced and it continues to influence the changing attitude. In that case, why is it not coming to light and appearing within our sight? Why is the process not surfacing?
In fact, the situation is not so negative. I will rather say that the trend is on the verge of taking a turn towards progress. Directions are coming out clear automatically because of the presence of positive circumstances. Those who have power enough will now come over merrily. However, if you ask about the date and time, etc., of the expected things to materialize, I will then say it takes a period of time, say 1 year, for completion, just like going up from one class to the higher class. Now, considering the major development of our expectations, naturally, it would take some preparatory time to facilitate dressing up and taking its own shape. The progress is now slow, no doubt. The seed has just started sprouting. Then, green leaves will come out. The flora too will follow in due course of time. From the seed to the flower and then the fruit, a time frame has been fixed by nature herself. We must have patience and wait. The call will come in time, that's sure. The early morning twilight indicates the advent of the rising sun. So, if you have braved the darkness of the night, you can of course hope for the light of the day. Maybe we can't see the faces of others around us well enough in the twilight, but everything will come out clear before our eyes when there's enough light. The day is sure to come soon. I am waiting for the moment.
How would we be able to discern and feel the changes developing internally, as you have said?
That's not so easy. Just the Earth's rotation is not perceptible, yet you know that the Earth is in motion because of the darkness of night and sunshine in daytime. You know the exact position where you stay, viewing the signals given by the compass. Realities will indicate where you stay. The vast crowd of common men today appear like the ocean, no doubt, but it is quite possible sandy traps have already taken shape inside the very ocean. Such growths do not survive for long. It succumbs. Formation of groups inside human conglomeration will also have the same fate. It won't last very long, and it will meet its natural end. So I hope, in due course of time, a right decision about our trust in the future will dawn upon us.
Thakur, in the present situation of social disarray, we are at a loss to understand which way to go. Would you please give us proper guidelines?
You have before you only one way to pursue. Find out and ponder over it. No line of action for the present that I can advise you to follow.
But what could be that line and how to select? We can expect some guidelines from you.
Whatever may be my advice, that will not bear any fruit in your case. No directive will be rendered into action. No medicine will have any effect on you, because your physical condition has reached the point of no response, owing to the continued suffering. I can well realize that even if the sum and substance of the Vedas are brought to your reach for your recovery, that also will have no effect. Wait only for the last day of life, as nothing else can give you any relief.
Then, Thakur, what do you ask us to do?
I have nothing new to say. Had there been any awakening and awareness in you as a result of my discourses, that would have taken place by this time. I have spoken a lot on these issues many a times. There won't have been the need to ask again for the same. I am a votary of the Vedas, just as I am in the constant pursuit of knowledge. My vision is molded on those dice. Any shortfall would naturally pain me, and I cannot absorb all that in silence. I raised the voice of protest in time. I always make a hue and cry, try to solve and cure the ills as much as possible, on my part. So long I have been very outspoken about your duties, even I have pointedly shown to you where the defects lie. That might have been just like fairy tales for you, so much so that you sometimes laughed or grieved another time. But unfortunately, in a short while, you managed to forget all about that. No good results have been the outcome as yet, but personally, I had to face problems for my frank statements. So what will be gained by repetition of my perceptions? As if these are like a patient's delirium that gives some temporary relief, nothing more. That's why I refrain from discussions in the same vein. Rather, I prefer to remain silent nowadays. I bear the pains in silence. What else could I do? That's my own choice, and I won't blame anybody else.
From all that you have said, we feel that some development must be hurting you deep in your heart. We too are feeling hurt for the same.
Your reactions appear to me just as one feels on seeing a motion picture inside the cinema hall. You are moved by the actors and actresses. You feel happy when you find them happy on the screen. The opposite also happens the same way. Your mental directions are confined within the four walls of the cinema hall. As you come out, the memory will fade away without leaving any permanent imprint. I wonder if my lessons and talks are going the same way with you all. Even then, you are pressing me to cite my lessons and discourses. But what will be the net result of such unnecessary outburst? I may be going on speaking before you. On your part, you may then nod your head sometimes in approval or shed tears if topics in grief. But the matter will end there itself. I will not be far away from the truth if I compare the scene with the practice of children wiping out the scribbling on their slates by spitting. You may remember there is a proverb, when the talk comes to an end, the plant supporting the talk also faces the same fate. Still, your eagerness to listen to my talks is welcome. I also intend to give vent to my thoughts and ideas with equal or more intensity, but I am afraid you may not be able to go ahead as I would like you to do. Therefore, I try to refrain from that, and it hurts me more at the core of my mind. Besides, multiple problems from outside are also hammering all the time, disturbing the balance.
Are we to take it that not even one person among your devotees is capable of taking the responsibility and initiative to implement the tasks you would like to entrust?
Why not? Here the population is as vast as the sea. One or two individuals may be identified, but they're just biding their time in silence because of the pressure from outside. Yet I know they have not stopped their assigned work.
We are getting only certain indications from what you say. Will you please speak out a bit more frankly?
You are repeatedly entreating me to give my version as to what I actually mean. It is already clear to you that by arithmetical calculation, 5 plus 5 makes 10. Likewise, 6 plus 4 also makes 10. In the same way, 7 plus 3 gives you the same 10. Why do you go on asking me these equations when you are already in the know? Calculations won't change by my repeating the same to satisfy your questions. Look at the situation developing outside. There also you will find calculations, as if it follows arithmetical rules like plus or minus, etc. Our social system now is also developing the strain, addition, alteration, deduction, or reduction is taking place as and when there is scope for the same. Unfortunately, people in general are deprived of the opportunities coming from multiplication and division. In such circumstances, we need to formulate a design or formula to adjust the complications developing all around. When things are so confusing and complicated, it is very necessary to keep cool and solve the calculations and arithmetical problems in a steady and peaceful mindset. There also, a problem often arises when it does not become possible to work with a cool temper. Dispute and strife, arrogance, and even assaults are taking place in such a way that no solution is in sight. The situation is so hopeless that people are busy for acquisition, how to wrest one's own share of the loot. This is comparable to a scene depicting that people have been invited to a feast on a certain occasion. Cooking is almost complete. Now the time has come for serving the meals to the guests. But before that, the organizers are insisting that quality must be tasted and approved before it can be catered to the invited guests. The irony becomes clear when the number of people eager to taste outnumbers the number of guests, as a result of which the entire foodstuff is consumed by way of tasting. On the other side, the guests are waiting in expectation, consoled at the news that tasting is going on, and soon their turn will come to the table of service. Unfortunately, that was never to happen. They have to quench their thirst by taking water from the nearby tank. Even then, they go on awaiting a call. But will there be any scope for them to have a share? Because the materials are already shared and distributed to the finish?